Before I begin, I saw the 3D version of the film, and right before the movie started, the lady in the movie screen said after the film, return all the 3D glasses. The entire audience bust out laughing. Maybe that's why this theater only has 3 stars. Or maybe it's because people dump their popcorn bags into the eyeglass drop off. People these days. The film, I believe, takes place 3 days after the conclusion of Captain America's Civil War, and T'Challa has to still deal with the death of his father becoming king and a threat to him and his country due to the sins of his father. Here are some positives I have of the film. 1. The world building. About the first 10 to 15 minutes focus on just Wakanda. Throughout the film, you see different types of technology, fashion, and landscapes of the country. Also, I believe they even create a new language just for the film. The whole world building makes me just excited to learn more. If there's an art book of this film, I say go get it, and I'm going to look and see if there is one already. Next, the acting. Normally I can point to at least one weak performance in the film. An example would be the boy in Proud Mary. I can't hear. Everyone was good. I was a bit worried that what happened in the comics with Nakia would happen in the film, but fortunately that didn't happen, and there's really no hint of that happening either. Martin Freeman as Everett Ross was good. He had an unintentional comedy and misplaced bravado that he has in the comics. However, the film version of him is more competent. The humor. The humor came from the characters' personalities and their interactions with one another. It didn't feel forced or improv. Humor can be used to release just enough tension in a scene, but you still get the impact from the previous scene. I think this film did that better than, say, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 and Thor Ragnarok. Another thing I liked was T'Challa's character arc. In Captain America's Civil War, he had to work through his hate and revenge. In this film, he had to continue to work through the loss of his father and decide on his and his country's legacy. Everyone around him, including Killmonger, had different ideas on what Wakanda should be and stand for. Many of them are very valid, but T'Challa had to figure out what worked in the past most likely won't work in the future. They all have to adapt to how the world is right now, but still not lose their past as well. Another thing I liked was Wakanda's character arc. A bit weird considering it's a country, but a country is its people, so. Spoiler or a little bit one anyway, but the country goes from being secretive to coming out and reveal itself and stop being selfish with its riches and help the world at large, but in a non-violent way. Another thing I liked was the villains. I'd rank Killmonger just below Zemo. They have similarities. Both did what they did for personal reasons. I would go with Zemo a bit higher, more because he wanted a more intimate and personal revenge. He wanted to hurt the few he saw responsible for it, and that's it. Killmonger wanted to make everyone in the world feel his pain, especially Wakanda, even those that didn't have anything to do with it. The opening narration, animation, and end credits. This isn't going to sound like much, but at the start of the film, I really enjoyed how they used the constant moving CGI images to give the audience a brief rundown about Wakanda and the Black Panther. This reminded me of Wonder Woman when Queen Hippolyta narrated to Diana and storybook style images were used. This is a great way to do exposition in a quick and efficient way that will keep the audience engrossed. Also, the end credits looked good. I'm really glad that at least some films use images and incorporate them into the credits. Just bland white on black is boring. Wait, that didn't sound right. The music. Well, this is both a pro and con. The African score is amazing and it fits the film. The problem is there's another score in it that sounded very generic. Why didn't the filmmakers do what Coco did last year and just have the entire film be one score, the African one? Now, it did seem during the third act that the generic score fused briefly with the African one and it sounded great. The film needed more of that. And now for some negatives. The 3D. The 3D was mostly pointless. Occasionally it added some depth, but nah. There were also times that the images looked a bit foggy. I thought maybe it was because of the type of glasses I have, but I didn't have this issue when I saw Valerian last year. So yeah, you can pretty much skip the 3D showing. Next, the CGI in parts looked fake. When Killmonger in the Jaguar suit fought T'Challa, it felt too CGI-y. There were times that the characters seemed to lack weight and they were floating in some instances. Also, a particular animal is armored for battle in an action scene and that armor looked unfinished. Up close, the animal looked great and real though. Okay, here's a personal one, maybe it's a nitpick. Once again, a villain is related to the hero in some way. It made sense in this movie more than others, but I still wish it wouldn't happen as often. Okay, another pet peeve. Once again, at least one major villain in the film is killed. It's tough to build a rogues gallery if you keep killing them off. I suppose this puts the kibosh on any feature film with the Masters of Evil, led by Zemo, I guess. Now, after I saw the film, I did have a question. Where can it go next? With the world built the way it is, where can it go? I suppose one of the tribes could invade and there could be a movie about that. However, I have an idea for an antagonist that would be interesting and would be on the same level of both Black Panther and Wakanda. Also, this would be a good way to introduce this anti-hero. Who is it? Marvel's first mutant, Namor the Submariner. Namor and Atlantis have had a very contentious relationship with Black Panther and Wakanda over the last few years. Based on what Joe Quesada said a couple years ago, Marvel now has the rights for Namor, so it could happen. I do wonder if this did happen, would it happen after the Disney Fox deal? Since you would want to have the Fantastic Four in existence in the same world if Namor exists there as well. Another logical villain would be Kraven the Hunter, but getting him from Sony would be too much effort unless rumors about them trying to sell off their movie division is true. Maybe a movie version of the American Panther could work, or Hunter the White Wolf could work, but in the comics, the character is T'Challa's adoptive brother. Oh boy, I'm starting to get a bit obscure. Let me just end that here right now. I do recommend this film. This is a really good film. Is it being overhyped? Yes, of course, but then again, every major film is overhyped these days. Still, I think this is a good film to see multiple times, but not because of the action. The action is good most of the time, sometimes it's not, but you should see this film more for the character and world building. I love the look of this world and how it works. I want to see more of it. I want a video game of it. I wish Ghost in the Shell and Valerian were like this last year. They should have been like this last year. I've waited 25 years for this film. I'm just glad that it finally came out. It's well crafted, fun, and it's as fully realized as it is. Well, those are my brief thoughts on the film. Maybe I'll do a more in-depth review of it at a later time. But until then, if you like this video, then please subscribe, comment below, share the video. And until next time, have a good day.